Let's bring in our next guest, Stephen Aramini. Stephen Aramini is the designer. Hey, let me see if I got him. Stephen.
I see you. I don't know if anyone else can hear me.
Everybody can see you out there. Welcome to Gumbo Live. Gumbo Live, it's episode number 60, and we've got a special guest tonight, Stephen Aramini, who's the designer of Animal Kingdoms. And if you check out his Board Game Geek page, you'll see he's designed a lot of the games that you're probably familiar with or you even own in your collection. Gumbo Live, it's a proud member of Punchboard Media. Check out some of our other fine members like Patrick and Eric in the morning. If you like morning shows, Patrick and Eric wake you up with game news, opinions, and friendly banter. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hey, Stephen, let's get right to it, man. Give us the quick elevator pitch. Who is Stephen Aramini, and what is your new game all about?
So I am a game designer. I've designed, this would be my 8th game that I've designed. The other games I've designed include Yardmaster, Sprawlopolis, Circle the Wagons, Groves, Barker's Row, Coin and Crown. What am I forgetting?
Those you named 2 of them that my buddy Jason Dinger, a frequent guest of the show who designed a game called Captains of Golf. Jason is constant. He's like your #1 fan when it comes to Sprawlopolis and Circle the Wagons. He loves Circle the Wagons.
Yeah, we actually follow each other on Twitter, and he always posts for Circle the Wagons, and we've kind of made it a running gag of he'll post his final Boomtown, and he asked me and Danny, who are co-designers, to try and guess what the scoring conditions are. So it's kind of been a running gag.
I've seen that gag. Yeah, and I was thinking of him on Sprawlopolis, but actually it's Eric Yurko from What's Eric Playing, who loves that Sprawlopolis game. So you were going to say something?
Oh no, yeah, he's gotten a ton of plays in, so he's been like really great for helping spread the word about Sprawlopolis.
We were doing a fun game. Chad, unfortunately, my previous guest had some technical problems, and while he was gone, he's a beginning gamer. He is in the city where Rocket City Game Fest runs. He manages the downtown, and as a beginning gamer, he doesn't know a lot of games, so he told us the last 3 games that he played, and those were Munchkin, Sushi Go, and Sheriff of Nottingham. So the chat, as you can see, it's a live show. We got tons of people in the chat room. They've been trying to come up with games. If that's what he liked, what would be the next game? Stephen, what's your idea? Knowing that those are the 3 games, what would you recommend as his next game to play?
Man, well, like Sheriff of Nottingham, I think my brain goes to a game like One Night.
Okay, One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Sort of the social deduction aspect. For Sushi Go, I'd say maybe like a Machikoro or Splendor, just because it's got a really very simple set of mechanics, and so I think those are always good, like sort of introductory games for people. And what was the other one that he said? Munchkin. I've actually never played Munchkin, but so
you know it's got to take
know.
that. So what's your favorite take that game?
Oh man,
do you have one? Is that something you like?
I'm kind of fine one way or another on that. I don't really have a favorite take that game, I guess. So I can't really, nothing comes to mind.
Chuck Yeager, who I just threw up his comment on the screen, he runs a Facebook group you need to check out, Stephen Aramini. It is it's the Gateway and Filler Games group on Facebook. A lot of the people you see in the chat room are in that group, and they play games that you design. I mean, I've looked at your list. Unfortunately, I haven't played any of your games yet. I know a lot of guys that own those games, so I'm going to get them played. And actually, Steve O'Rourke, who produces the show with me, he and I have been going back about Sprawlopolis and Circle the Wagons for months. So it's one of the games on my list. But if you ever get a chance to check out that Facebook group, come join us, because that's the kind of games that we're talking about, Stephen. You sound like you are a Gateway and Filler Games fan.
Yeah, I mean, I like actually all kinds of games, but I would say if I can set it up, play it, teach it, get it taught and played in an hour or less, that's right in my wheelhouse. I love those kind of games that have a little bit of depth and strategy to them, but you can, not have it overtake your entire game night.
O'Rourke says the Stevens need to stick together, whether it's PH or V, they need to stick together. So the winner was none of those games, even though you mentioned Splendor, and Splendor was a very popular recommendation for Chad. The winner was, and I knew this would happen, it was Insider Baseball. Chad wrote a book about Disney called Project Future. He's actually a card-carrying media member for Disney, and I knew that Villainous would be right up his alley. So he didn't know much about the game. It's got Take That in it, so he's going to like it from Munchkin. And of course, he loves the Disney theme. So, Jeff,
yeah, it's a beautiful game. I have not played it, but man, I really want to play it just from the art alone.
I'm going to be playing it tomorrow night at our Gumbo game night. One of the guys has it. We have not been able to hook up when he's been there. He's either not had the game or not been there the nights that I've been there. So I can't wait to do it. Steve O'Rourke had a suggestion. We had Dr. Steve Finn on last season. Are you familiar with Steve Finn's games? Any of his games?
Yeah, I think if you told me the titles, I'd be familiar with them.
There's the Biblios game that a lot of people.
Got that on my shelf. Yeah,
Cosmic Run, and its later ones, Cosmic Run Regeneration. The one that he had mentioned was one I haven't played yet, but it's called Little Flower Shop, and he had recommended that. I'm not sure if you knew that. The other game Steve O'Rourke had mentioned, which I didn't get a chance to talk to Chad Emerson, was Broom Service. Have you played Broom Service?
No, I haven't. Yeah,
okay.
And I've actually not played Little Flower Shop either. So. There's so many games out there, man. It's impossible.
We could play that game all night. Have you played? And we could both say no for about 1,000 times because there's 1,500 games that come out every year. Jeremy, the Game Geek Ninja, I don't know if you're familiar with his review site, but he says, I played 3 of your games, Sprawlopolis, Circle the Wagons, and of course, being friends with Carl and Nick, he's played Animal Kingdoms.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Hey, let's get right to Animal Kingdoms because I'm curious. Tell me, give us the pitch out here. What is Animal Kingdoms and how would it appeal to the Gateway and Filler Group fans?
So Animal Kingdoms is a game that combines hand management and area influence. Basically, you've got one deck, which is the Beast deck, and it's got 8 different suits of animals. Each of those has a 1 to 8, value. And basically, you have your hand of 4 cards, and you're going to play one of those cards into one of the 5 kingdoms. And the catch is you can only play to a kingdom if you adhere to its decree, which is essentially a placement rule. And the decrees can be anything from super simple, like you can only play odd cards, or you can only play this type of beast, to more complex rules that are affected by your neighboring kingdoms or even the entire state of the board. So, it's area influence in that once you play a card to a particular kingdom, then you get to drop an influence cube there. And at the end of the round, whoever has majority in each kingdom will get the first place points, and then there are second and third place points. So you're sort of jockeying for position while at the same time trying to really manage your hand to set yourself up to really maximize the points.
How many players does it play, Stephen?
1 to 5.
Okay. And about how long does it take for your typical 3 or 4 person game?
It's about depending on the players, but it's about 45 minutes. So it kind of falls right into my style of game, which is you can set it up, you can teach it. It's like a 4-page rule book, so it's pretty light on rules. And get it played in under an hour. And really the game time's about the same from 1 to all the way up to 5 players because you're using the same amount of essentially spaces to try and take over.
That hits my favorite category. Chris Kirkman always talks about it. He calls it the 1 hour wonder or the power hour game, right? That's my favorite kind of game that you can get set up, taught, and played in about an hour. And Animal Kingdoms fits that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say it is a great sort of gateway or filler game. Maybe a +1 because even though it's very simple and light on rules, there's quite a bit of strategy that you have to apply. And one of the things I kind of like about it is I'm a big fan of like classic card games. Right. So it sort of has that element with the hand management. I think of just like simple games like Linko or Coloretto or Parade and those kinds of things where you're really just kind of examining your hand. So it's got that aspect, but then with the board game, it sort of brings it into a little bit more of that hobby game type feel. So to me, it's kind of a fun sort of blend.
I did some show prep and I didn't realize that it wasn't always Animal Kingdom. Steve O'Rourke is checking in and he says production looks gorgeous and he loves hearing 1 to 5, and that's great that you have a solo option. But it wasn't always Animal Kingdoms, but it sure seems to fit that just perfectly. How did that come about? So
it was originally a deep sea fishing game.
Okay.
And I don't know why I picked deep sea fishing. I don't know. Maybe I was inspired by Fleet or something, and I like that theme. But so originally, you were going out into these seas, and there were actually 7 seas that you were going out to try and basically catch as many fish before it got fished out. So, so a lot of the mechanics were the same, but in that one, I actually didn't even have the decrees. It was more of a market manipulation game. So you were trying to fish the seas out and then go back to town and sell those fish for as much money as you could. And so I really kind of realized that game, it just didn't feel very innovative or unique out there. And so when I sort of added the decrees, that really kind of made me rethink the theme as well. So for a brief stint, it went to Interstellar Travel Agency, which don't ask me why that was a terrible theme. Actually, it's a great theme, but not for this game. I was just running across artwork, and I found these really cool retro, like sort of vintage NASA posters for like fictional destinations like Saturn and stars and whatnot. And I just said, oh, that would be such a cool theme for a game. And this happened to be the game I was working on, so I tried really hard to fit a square peg into a round hole and realized that it wouldn't fit. So then I kind of took a step back and looked at the mechanics and was just kind of like, okay, at its heart, really, what is this game about? And it was really about sort of dominating a territory. And that's where I just sort of got the idea for Kingdoms. And I think with the animals, I think the name just popped in my head, Animal Kingdom, so it kind of stuck. And then I really like the idea of animals as suits. Again, probably from maybe being influenced by Coloretto, or just the idea of having really super colorful cards that just looked really cool on the table. So that's sort of the genesis of how it came to be Animal Kingdoms.
Yeah, this artwork is absolutely gorgeous. But Jeremy, the Game Geek Ninja, reminds me, it's a Cardboard Edison Award winner. And that's how I learned to play the game. I'm trying to do a crowd surfing segment for you with Tom Basso, but they went on this big cruise, and so we got pushed back a little bit. But the best way I learned the game, Stephen, you did a fantastic job in your video for the Cardboard Edison Award. You actually show everybody how to play. Has it changed much since that video? If anybody goes out and finds that video,
a little bit. I mean, the scoring has definitely changed, and I think the biggest change is now it's a board game. So when I designed it, I was really going for like compact and efficient. So I designed it as just a deck of cards.
Look what we got here on the Gumbo. Hold on one second. Chuck Yeager just backed Animal Kingdom.
Oh, awesome. Thank you,
Chuck. Go ahead. Back to your story, Stephen. Tell Carl.
Yeah. So it was a card game originally, and I just did that thinking, just my brain was going to how can I make this as efficient as possible. And really, when it got signed to Galactic Raptor, they really wanted to make it feel more thematic and feel more like you were taking over and dominating actual kingdoms. So they introduced the whole idea of the board, and then obviously found an amazing artist to really bring it to life and stuff. So really those were the two biggest things.
Yeah, the way I saw it originally, it looked like it was laid out kind of in a line, and now they have this beautiful geometric design, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the game has a wraparound effect in terms of a lot of the decrees are affected by your left and right neighbor. So it's much more intuitive now because you're always going to have a left and right neighbor. Whereas with the line of cards, you kind of had to mentally make the wraparound to the other side. And that was just the state of the game that it was in at the time. So yeah, I think that was a really great improvement. And now I feel like the table presence is so much better.
Verla says, hey, Stephen, I was super excited to see Teal and Plum and Meeples. Are you involved in the stretch goals at all, or is that more Carl and Nick and Dan?
No, yeah, that's all them. So I know they were really conscious of picking colors, not just to be a nice eye appealing, but I know they were trying to be cognizant of colorblind. So they picked I think a lot of colors for player colors and whatnot to try and maximize the visibility and readability of that for all players.
Ninja's throwing me for a loop here. Is there a hidden trader? I don't remember seeing that in any of the videos.
No, but you could. I mean, maybe that's the variant. Yeah, we'll work on that for the
Ninja,
expansion.
explain yourself. I'm not sure what that comment is about. I'm sure that has to do with some of our games at BGG. I bet that's what it is. Hey, Jesse Fernandez is checking in, saying good evening, everyone. Jesse, we're visiting with my guest here, Stephen Aramini, who designed the Animal Kingdoms game out on Kickstarter right now from Galactic Raptor. And I do have a question. The last couple of years, Renegade has swooped right into the Cardboard Edison Awards and scooped up everybody. And you went with Carla and Nick and Dan. What was that comfort level? What made you decide to go with Carla and Nick and Dan?
So Dan, I actually had a relationship with before because we worked on a game called Grows
Sure.
year before through his company, Letterman Games. So I already had a relationship with him, and I actually had shared an earlier version of the game, and he had not signed it because it was still sort of in the baking stage, I guess. But after Cardboard Edison, after it won that, then we talked again. And so I already had that sort of in with him. And I knew Carla only through Twitter, really.
He's prolific on social media.
Yeah. So he basically said they were partnering up and forming a new company, and they wanted this to be sort of the brand new game, the first game out of the chute with Galactic Raptor, and
awesome.
That they were basically ready to throw all their energy into putting it out right away. So yeah, Cardboard Edison came out in, I think, March of last year, and it's on Kickstarter now. So it was a really quick process in terms of developing it. And so yeah, mostly it was just my comfort level with having worked with Dan before and my desire to work with Carla.
BJ, we're going. I've got my guest here, Stephen Aramini, the designer of Animal Kingdoms, out on Kickstarter right now from Galactic Raptor. I always want to say Weird Draft, but it's Galactic Raptor in this one. You played a game recently, Stephen. Do you mind telling us a little bit about Crusaders Thy Will Be Done? Because I've played it. I played it in prototype form at Dice Tower Con 2017, and I got to play it again last night for the first time with the new Kickstarter edition. And before I say anything, I want to know, what did you think of Seth's game, Crusaders Thy Will Be Done from TMG?
I really liked it. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience playing rondel based games,
right? So
to me it was kind of a new experience, and so yeah, so I just really enjoyed that puzzle of, sort of, for those who aren't familiar with it, there's a map and you're going around and claiming these territories and stuff, but really the heart of the game is this rondel, and you sort of pick up all your cubes and then you drop them off Mancala style, and that's how you set up your future moves. But wherever you remove the cubes, that's going to dictate what your action is. And so to me, it was just like a really fun puzzle, and I'm a fan of games that aren't too confrontational. So to me, it was just kind of like this puzzle that I could kind of work on and nobody could mess up. It was just sort of an optimization game. So I really enjoyed the puzzle. I don't know that I felt, it didn't feel very thematic to me. Like,
I can see that.
Which, admittedly, like Animal Kingdoms is a pretty abstract game as well. So, if you're going in really feeling like you want to feel like a crusader taking over the land, it doesn't have that thematic feel so much. But to me, it had a really fun mechanic that was a really interesting puzzle.
I was a little nervous when I played it back then, because years ago I was playing nothing but gateway and filler games, and then and some thematic games like D&D type games, and then I played Trajan, and I just wasn't ready for it back then. This is, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and that Mancala and trying to figure out what all the actions were. So when I saw the game at Dice Tower Con 2 years ago, I was like, oh no, and I played it, and I was like, oh, this is really fun and not that bad. My son Jack and I had a blast. We only played a round or two. So we've been waiting all this time for it to come out. And Wednesday night, I had a fantastic time. What I liked about it, similar to what you said, I got to kind of build my tableau and got my butt kicked, by the way, while the other guy was really worried about the board and watching us. But for a first game where I'm just trying to learn the Mancala and the rondel and all the different things I can do. But I also like the fact that he taught it to me in 5 or 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. We played the game, a 3-player game, in roughly about 45 minutes, so maybe a little bit more. The game was actually shorter than I thought. but yet the combination of all of the different mechanics that it had gave me the feel of a really big game. The classic 1 hour wonder where you really feel like you got some meat on the bones, yet you get in and get out in about an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. That was surprising to me too, because I actually thought it would be a heavier, longer game.
No, it ends quick.
And it was pretty quick, and it was a pretty simple teach. The person who taught it to me, we were up and running pretty quick. So yeah, that was my style of game.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo, I didn't get to chat with you in the chat beforehand. We're just going to kind of go into it. This is a board game show, and Steven, we like to play games on this show, as you can probably tell. One of the games that we do is called the Jambalaya Game. Let me give you the setup real quick. Steve O'Rourke works all week. He tries to figure out your games, what you like, some of your hobbies, and he mashes them with board games, hopefully games that you either know or you played. I give you the hints, and then you compete with the chat room to try to guess them. It's just for fun. There's no prize or anything like that, so don't feel bad if you do great or you do bad. But I'll give you an example. The clue could be something like, what if this famous Price is Right host joined a traveling circus? What would that game be called?
Barker's Row.
Bob Barker's Row. There it is. So you got it. I gave you kind of a softball there for you.
If I couldn't get that one, then I'd be in real trouble.
I probably should have kept that in the regular list so we know you get one. So Bob Barker's Row, for everybody that doesn't know, Stephen Aramini has an awesome lineup of games. Barker's Row I actually didn't know about. Sprawlopolis and Circle of Wagons. I promise you, they are on my list to play. But we're going to go with this. Do you understand the rules of the Jambalaya game?
I think so.
Are you ready to play?
Do I just blurt it out if I know it, or do
if you know it, you just say it. You're competing with these guys. They're about 7 or 8 seconds behind you, so you do have an advantage on them. I don't know how much these guys cheat with the internet, so they have that advantage because you got to do it cold. But let's go with the first one right out of the bat. Stephen O'Rourke is just mean. He can be really mean sometimes, but I'm going to throw it at you and see what because you only have 3 games on your BGG list, so Steve and I didn't really know. What kind of games you're familiar with. So let's throw this now. A heavy card-based game about trying to put the squeeze on a Mexican dictator. The game and the animal can both be rather long. And look, for full disclosure, a lot of these games, the mashup is going to be animal themed, and you probably know why. You're the designer of Animal Kingdoms out on Kickstarter right now from Galactic Raptor. Ding. So what do you think? A heavy card-based game about trying to put the squeeze on a Mexican dictator. The game and the animal can be both rather long. Any idea?
No.
I would focus on the animal because that might help you. I told Steve, I said, I know games that there's no way I would get this clue. This is a really tough one. I wonder if there's anybody out there.
I don't know. I think of like a anaconda or something.
Oh, he's got the animal. Now we just got to get the name of the game. So what sounds like anaconda?
Dictator?
Yeah, that is the clue, but it's going to be pretty tough. I have never played this game. I've actually never seen it in the wild. I know it because I know some of his other designs.
Yeah,
Steve O'Rourke, this is going to be a tough one. I think we're going to call it. I think this one's too tough to start right off the bat. But I'm going to throw it out there. It's Pax Porphyrianaconda.
Well, yeah.
Are you familiar with the Pax series at all?
I've kind of heard of it, but there's no way I would have gotten it.
All right, so let's try. Yeah, Steve says the game's a bit
I'm in trouble.
obscure. You think? No, we're going to go with some easier ones. All right, here we go. In this interesting Stefan Feld game, players ask the question, what is this Indonesian great ape doing fishing, collecting shells, offering sacrifices to the gods on a small South Pacific island?
Bora Bora.
All right, so he's got the game. Got to mash it up with something.
Okay.
That room, this is wide open for you. Yeah, Jeff says that was an obscure game. Pax Porphyriana. Sorry about that, Jeff. I don't know why that was number one, Steve.
So I'm mashing it up with. Say it again.
In this interesting Stefan Feld game, players ask the question, Stephen, what is this Indonesian great ape doing fishing, collecting shells, and offering sacrifices to the gods on a small South Pacific island? He wants me to sing from the Jungle Book. Ooh, I want to be like you. Why are you doing that to
Or
me,
an
Steve?
orangutan.
All right.
Or I don't think I am.
You're so close, Stephen.
Bora orangutan.
There it is. Bora Borangutan.
Okay,
Bora Borangutan. He's got it. So he's got one out of the. He's got one of them, Steve. He's got one of them, Steve. So you're doing well, Stephen.
10-second delay on the.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see these guys start scrolling in if they know the game.
Bora orangutan. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm picking it up.
Yeah. Marshall says Oracle of Delphi. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Marshall. Good try. Good try, Marshall. All right, here we go. Number 3, a dream-inspired card game. By the way, a game that I've never played live. I've only played in app form, and I know a lot of people that have done this. A dream-inspired card game mashed up with a member of the antelope family. But unlike the herd animals, this game runs solo. By the way, Jesse was impressed. He said, "Good job there, Stephen." So what do you think? A dream-inspired card game mashed up with a member of the antelope family. But unlike the herd animals, this game runs solo.
A dream-inspired card game.
Yeah, solo dream-inspired card game. Really strange, dreamy art on it. Really popular app. Not picking it up.
Would it be Dixit?
So think Dixit style art. You're on the right track. Think Dixit style art. But it's a solo game though. Solo only. Really funky.
Onirim?
That's right. The game is Onirim. So
okay,
what?
So you gotta give me the clues twice. Dream inspired and Onirim
with the member of the antelope family. Oh, Steve, he's gonna get this one. Steven is all over this one.
Family. Oh no.
Chat room, I'm telling you, crew, you're gonna have to be quick with this guy because he's won it.
Member of the antelope family. I don't know. I get a half point.
Oh, the chat room is gonna get this one. So you don't have it?
I don't think so. An antelope family.
Yeah, Verla was on your track with Mysterium.
Onirim. I don't know.
Yeah, think of that Chevy car, that big Chevy car with the
Impala. Onirim Impala.
Onirim Impala. That's it. He's got it. Yeah, Steve. I was thinking the same. Steve and I share a brain. We were both thinking of Chevy.
One step from the answer. So
this one I want to. Oh yeah. Jeff wants to screenshot me doing the animal thing. You notice I wasn't describing it, Jeff. I was just doing it because I didn't want it on the broadcast at all. So I was just doing it. All right, here you go. This is a game I like a lot. So hopefully you've played this game. God, I hope. One of my favorite designers here. Oh, look, there's the Game Geek Ninja checking in. Well, I like Jesse's answer. He says, "Dear Lyrium," but it's not a solo game. So that was the clue. Yeah, the clue was that the game runs solo. Okay, here we go. Number 4. Is every knight on this quest truly loyal to the king? But who brought along that South American dwarf leopard? And that's all Steve has for you. Oh, he is so cruel sometimes.
Every knight.
Is every knight on this quest truly loyal to the king? And who brought along that South American dwarf leopard? That's a big hint for the game. Loyal knights on a quest for the king. Second part's a little tougher, but I love this game. I love this game. Two people design it. Bruno Catala, as he would say. Ooh, I've got it right here, so I gotta hide it. Let's see. And Serge Leggett.
Well, since I can see it, is that cheating?
I'm putting it down so you can't see it. I'm putting it way down. Oh, he's got it. The Game Geek Ninja with the 3-pointer. Look at that. Shadows over Ocelot or Camelot or however you want to do it. But that is the game. Are you familiar with Shadows over Camelot at all?
I am familiar with the name, but I've actually never played it.
Such a good trader game. Such a good trader game. You got to check that out. All right,
No,
so here we
it's
go.
a classic. I got to get that one.
All right, here's one I did, and I always warn you about that because the chat room hates when I give out clues, when I write the clues. I don't know why, but we'll see. So 90% of these are written by Steve O'Rourke, but I wrote this one. Animal Kingdom's got them. Baltimore has them too, but so does this Uwe Rosenberg classic about praying and working. Animal Kingdom's got them. Baltimore has them too. Actually, I should have said Wingspan's got them. Wingspan's got them. Baltimore has them too. But so does this Uwe Rosenberg classic about praying and working. You know the animal.
The Oriole?
Orioles, Baltimore Orioles, right? Wingspan.
I'm trying to think of the Uwe Rosenberg.
Oh, this is one the crew could steal. Chat room crew, can you steal it? He gave you the animal. It's the Oriole. What Uwe Rosenberg? Verla wants me to sing more. As long as you sing them, you can write them. I do like singing the clues. Not so much tonight. I've got a little bit of a cold, but so does this Uwe Rosenberg classic about praying and working. Yeah, no, not or. That's a good mashup though, Jeremy. Orleans, but you know that Uwe didn't design Orleans.
I don't know. All I can think of is like Patchwork and Cottage Garden and all of his poly.
The Polyanimals. Yeah, it's not one of those. It's one of his older games. It's about praying and working. It's got some Latin in there. Praying and working. In fact, I think it might be the only Latin-based title that he's got. Trying to think. I don't think of another one. Oh, there he is. Marshall Wells got it. Aura and Laborials. Do you know Aura and Laboria?
No.
Not familiar with them? Okay. No problem. Yep. Okay, here we go. Here's an easy one if you've ever been. Have you been to Louisiana? Anywhere in Louisiana?
I have.
All right, what part?
Just in New Orleans.
The Big Easy. Okay. Speaking of the Big Easy, good, I got on my shelf up there.
Oh yeah, Big Easy busking. That looks awesome.
I got the rules. I broke it out tonight. I'm trying to work on it a little bit. Big Easy busking. It's the next game from Carl and them. That'll be from Weird Giraffe Games. So we're trying to get together in New Orleans to play it. Yep. Orioles eat Labora. So that's Jeff. How about this one? I heard Louisiana. Did you know this, Stephen? Louisiana is changing its state flag. Did you know that?
I did not.
It's still going to have the state bird, Stephen. But the bird will be pressing its luck while it rolls them bones.
So I don't know the bird.
You don't know the bird, the state bird of Louisiana?
No.
What?
I don't know the state bird of Louisiana.
Oh man, I thought that's the first thing they teach in California. What is the state bird of Louisiana?
And then
what birds are we known for besides mosquitoes? What birds are we known for?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Pelicans? What is that?
That's my pelican impression.
Is that a pelican?
That was my pelican impression. That's the name of our basketball team too. New Orleans Pelicans, the Pels.
Oh yeah. I should have gotten that. Yeah. So okay, pelican, and then roll them bones.
Yeah, I'm predicting. Steven's going to give this one up to the chat room here. They're going to sneak it in. Nutria. Jeff says nutria. That's not a bird. Nutria are not birds. They're horrible pests.
No, all I can think of is rattlebones, but that's not it.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. He's ending it for you. I predicted. Hey, I predicted it, Stephen. I said the chat room would get it, and the ninja says Pella can't stop. Have you played Can't Stop before?
I have. It's been a long time, but I have played it.
That's another one that the app has kind of killed the game for me because it's so easy to play on the app, right? It's so easy to put on the app. Okay, we got just a couple of more because we know we got to get you out of there. I know we started a little late there. So Steve wants me to get one for you. Here we go. Let me see if I can find one. A game that you'd be familiar with there. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I love this clue. How far do we have to travel, Stephen? How far do we have to travel to find this famously extinct bird? Just follow Antoine Bozat on this peaceful journey game to find out.
Okay, so Takedo Do.
Takedo Do. He's got it. Very nice.
I got one.
I got one more. This is going to be our last one. You ready, Stephen? You're on a roll. That was a good one, man. You got that one pretty quick. What is Verla talking about? She saw live Nutria on a walk break today. Where do you live, Verla? That you see Nutria on your walk? Have you ever heard the word Nutria? Or did you learn a new word tonight, Stephen?
I did learn a new word. I'm not sure I learned it yet.
Look it up when you get off the show. How horrible, pesty those nutria are. They eat everything. Okay, so and you can't shoot in Louisiana. We shoot everything and we eat everything, and you can't shoot nutria because they just taste terrible. So because they eat trash. So here we go. Last one of the night. You've done well, Stephen. You've got a lot of the answers. You beat the chat room on a couple. They've done pretty well tonight. Jeremy seems to be leading it right now, but let's see who can get this one fastest. Can the bird of peace deliver correspondence to his favorite princess? That's the premise of this well-known little card game.
Bird of peace. Say dove.
Chuck says, when I live in Florida, people ate nutria. I've heard of it, but I have never eaten nutria, and I don't plan to.
Deliver.
Stephen, you're not the only one. Jesse learned about nutria too. Can the bird of peace deliver some correspondence to his favorite princess?
Dove letter.
Dove letter. That's it.
Yay.
Dove letter. Nicely done, Stephen. Oh, he's got one more. You got time for one more?
Oh yeah, sure.
One more. Here we go. Okay.
I'm on a roll now. I got 2 in a row.
That's 2 in a row. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Steve's been saving this one for a closer. So let's do this one. In this deduction game, you might be the player tracking a serial killer, hunting him like a dog, a wild African dog. A dog, Stephen. We're talking about a wild African dog. What serial killer game are we doing? Yes, Ninja, you ninja'd that one. That's right. You ninja'd it. Verla, nicely done. You knew Dove Letter. I knew you would have gotten that one, Verla.
I'm thinking of, it's not Letters from Whitechapel.
It's not Letters from Whitechapel, but you're on the right track.
You're tracking a serial killer?
In this deduction game, you might be the player tracking a serial killer.
Maybe Mr. Jack.
Like a dog.
Mr. Jackalope?
Mr. Jackal! Oh, you said Jackalope. Dang it. I jumped into too easy.
Mr. Jackal. I don't know where Jackalope came from. That's the made-up African dog.
Well, man, you got a bunch of them. You got Mr. Jack. You got Takai Dodo. You got the Dove Letter, right? You got Dove Letter. You missed Pelican. No, you got Pelican Stop, or did some? No, Jeremy got Pelican Stop.
No,
that's right. You got Onairim Pala. That's harder to say than I thought. And Bora Barangatang. Not bad. That's 5 answers.
Yeah, I did okay.
That is actually very good.
For a beginner.
Good job. So let's talk a little bit real quick about Animal Kingdom. It's out on Kickstarter right now. How many more days can they take a look at the Kickstarter?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll tell you.
2-3 weeks.
I've got it up right now.
Yeah,
so it's
3 more weeks.
16 days to go. It's already 230% funded. So people, it's going to be out there. It's from 2 companies. It's from a company that's kind of backed by 2 companies that have a long history of doing some great Kickstarters, Letterman Games and Weird Giraffe Games. They're not rookies when it comes to Kickstarters, right, Stephen?
No, yeah, they've between the 2 of them, they're probably I've done 9 or 10, maybe even more, maybe like 12. So yeah.
Tons and tons of beautiful ones, and I'm loving how the stretch goals are they're all really good. I mean, the first ones were pretty important, some nice card stock and all that other stuff. But I really like how she's sneaking out these little cool ones with different meeples and different colors. And can you give us a hint as to what might be coming up? Anything? A little scoop for the Gumbo?
I don't have the scoop. I believe there's a couple more animal shapes coming. But I don't even know what they are. They don't let me know what those kinds of things. So, but I know the component upgrades, and then a few more cool meeple shapes to throw in there. And I think they might be trying to throw a little sort of mini expansion in there too.
I do love how they keep teasing out with the comment section about what the next the animals. Actually, it looks like Carla is inviting people to talk about it. So. Well, all right, board gamers, that is it for another episode of Gumbo Live, episode number 60. I want to thank my guest, Chad Emerson, who came in earlier, and Stephen Aramini, designer of a bunch of great games. Get out there and check those out. Stephen, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Mostly through Twitter, just at Stephen Aramini. If you follow games, then all the people I follow are board game fans. So that's pretty much all I talk about. So that's the best way.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. It helps us to get the word out about all of our upcoming guests and shows. And next week, Stephen, we're going to have Rob and Christine from Blue Peg, Pink Peg podcast. I don't know if you listen to those guys or not, but they're a hoot and they're a blast. We got a bunch of big guests coming up this season, but I can't wait to talk to Rob and Christine. I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, Stephen, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Thank you.